The human who walked with ghosts. In the dark silence of a forgotten world, one man rose, carrying more than his own life. He bore the voices of the fallen, and with every step, their ghosts walked beside him. This is the story of the human who refused to let the dead be forgotten, the human who walked with ghosts. Relax and listen to the complete story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates. The ruins whispered. Not with wind, not with life, but with echoes that clung to the bones of dead worlds. Lieutenant Marcus Hale stood at the edge of the crater, visor dimmed against the pale shimmer rising from shattered stone. His breath caught in his chest. He wasn't supposed to be here. No one was. The briefing had called this planet a husk. No atmosphere. No signal. No threat. But he heard voices. Faint. Thin. Not through comms, not through tech. Through something older. Something deeper. He tightened his grip on the rifle slung across his chest. Command, this is Hale. I've got interference. Strange readings on my sensors. Static hissed back at him. Of course. The drop team had scattered hours ago, combing the site for salvage. Yet Marcus found himself alone. That wasn't unusual. He had a habit of wandering further than orders allowed. Some called it curiosity. Others called it recklessness. He called it not being able to turn away when something pulled at him. And right now, something pulled. He stepped down into the crater. The stone walls pulsed faintly with a light like trapped starlight. His boots left prints in ancient dust. Every breath felt like stepping deeper into someone else's memory. Who's there? He whispered before he could stop himself. The air shifted. And the voices answered. Not words. Not yet. Just fragments. A sob. A cry. A laugh too brittle to be alive. Marcus froze. Every soldier's instinct screamed at him to run, to call it in, to stay with the squad. But something in his chest, the same thing that had driven him to enlist, to leave Earth behind, to throw himself into the dark, refused to let go. He had always chased ghosts. Memories of his father who died in the first colonial wars. The faces of comrades who didn't come back from patrols. The voice of his sister in old recordings, gone long before he shipped out. Ghosts were all he had left. And now they walked with him. The crater floor opened into a cavern. Black pillars jutted from the ground like broken teeth, etched with marks no human eye had ever traced before. They glowed faintly as he passed, flaring brighter when his hand brushed one. The voices thickened. A woman's scream. A child's laughter. A chorus of words in languages he didn't know and yet somehow felt beneath his skin. He stumbled forward, heart hammering. Command, do you copy? He tried again, but the comm was dead. He wasn't surprised. Places like this never wanted to be found. And yet, they always found people like him. At the cavern's heart stood a shape. Not stone. Not a machine. Not alive. A monument, or maybe a tomb. Its surface shimmered like glass, catching starlight where no starlight should reach. Marcus stepped closer, drawn like a moth to a flame. His reflection swam across the surface, helmet, armor, rifle, but behind it flickered other shapes. A soldier in armor not his own. A woman clutching a child. A towering alien with eyes like dying suns. All standing where he stood. All watching him. The voices surged into clarity. You hear us. Marcus staggered. The words didn't sound. They were inside his skull, cold and absolute. Who are you? The ones who remain. The ghosts had answered. Marcus's breath fogged against his visor, though there was no air to fog. The voices pressed against his mind, hundreds layered over thousands, none in unison, all bleeding through him like light through fractured glass. The ones who remain. He forced his voice steady. Remain from what? The cavern pulsed in response. Images bled into his vision, blinding, raw. Worlds burning. Armies of metal tearing through skies. Cities are crumbling beneath oceans of fire. And above it all, a shadow that had no shape. A predator that could never die. The ghosts whispered as one. The end. The silence. The forgetting. Marcus staggered to one knee, clutching his head. He wanted to scream. He wanted to shut it out. But something held him there, rooted, forced to look. Maybe it was duty. Maybe it was madness. Maybe it was the part of him that had always walked with ghosts. Why me? He rasped. Why now? The reflections in the glass tomb shifted. The soldier with unfamiliar armor stepped forward in the surface, though the glass remained unbroken. Because you hear. Marcus's blood ran cold. Plenty of soldiers had passed through this crater before him. Salvagers. Archaeologists. Entire Dominion survey teams. None had heard. None had answered. But he had. He rose slowly, rifle forgotten, hands trembling at his sides. What do you want? The soldier's reflection stared at him with hollow eyes. To be remembered. To be carried. To be seen. The words rattled through Marcus's skull, heavy with grief. The others joined, their voices overlapping. The woman is clutching her child. The towering alien. A dozen, then 100. We are not gone. But soon, we will be nothing. The cavern darkened, the glow of the pillars dimming as if starved. Marcus's chest tightened. He recognized the feeling. He had seen it before. On battlefields, in dying comrades' eyes. They weren't asking for salvation. They were asking not to be forgotten. His throat closed. I can't. I don't even know who you are. You will. The glass rippled. Light spilled out, not blinding but soft, wrapping around him like smoke. It wasn't forced. It was an invitation. Marcus hesitated. Every instinct screamed that he should back away, report, let command deal with this. But the command wasn't here. No one was. Only him. And the ghosts waiting in silence. He pressed his palm to the glass. The world split open. He fell, but not with his body. His mind stretched across time. Across lives. He stood on a battlefield not his own, alien suns burning red in the sky. A blade of fire in his hands. Soldiers screaming as the shadow consumed them. He gasped and blinked, and he was elsewhere, kneeling in a nursery, a child with violet eyes reaching for him as walls collapsed around them. Another blink. Another life. He was hundreds of people at once. Warriors. Mothers. Scholars. Outcasts. Each of them cut down, each of them swallowed by the same unending dark. Each of them leaves behind only this echo. Marcus tore free, stumbling back, the visions ripping away like shreds of his own skin. He collapsed to the cavern floor, chest heaving, sweat pouring down his face despite the cold. The tomb's glow dimmed again. The voices softened. You carry us now. No, Marcus whispered, shaking his head. I can't. I can't carry all of you. The child's laughter brushed his ears. The soldier's hollow eyes burned in his skull. The alien's voice shook his bones. You already do. Marcus pressed his hands over his ears, but there was no shutting them out. They weren't in the air. They weren't in the stone. They were inside him. He remembered every comrade who had fallen. Every family member he had buried. Every ghost he already carried. And now there were more. Countless more. The cavern seemed smaller suddenly. The dark closer. The silence is deeper. Why me? His voice cracked. Why a human? The answer came like a sigh. Because you endure. Marcus's body trembled. The weight was unbearable. But beneath it, something else stirred. A strange clarity. Every ghost was a scar, a burden, but also a story. And he was the only one left to tell them. The thought terrified him. But it also gave him a strength he hadn't felt in years. He rose to his feet, knees weak, rifle hanging forgotten. Fine, he whispered. Then I'll carry you. For as long as I can. The glass flickered once, faint and fragile. That is enough. The climb out of the cavern felt longer than the descent. Marcus's boots dragged through dust that had lain untouched for centuries, though now it clung to him as though marking him had changed. The voices were quiet, but not gone. They whispered at the edges of thought, faint as dreams. He pressed a hand to his helmet, trying to steady his breathing. Just hold it together. One step at a time. But he wasn't sure if he was speaking to himself, or to them. When he reached the crater's edge, the silence cut deep. No squad. No shuttle. No comms ping. Just the barren landscape, broken by jagged stone and the black ribs of alien ruins. His stomach turned. They wouldn't leave without him. Not the unit he knew. Not the ones he trusted. He switched channels on his comm static. He tried the emergency beacon. Nothing. His throat tightened. Either the planet was eating signals whole, or he really was alone. Not alone. The whisper brushed against his mind. Not in words exactly, but in the sensation of someone walking beside him. Marcus froze. His hands twitched toward the rifle. Don't. He looked around. No figures. No shadows moving against the dust. Just him. And them. You're not here, he muttered. Your memories. Echoes. Not real. But his voice shook with the lie. He moved on, pacing the ridge of the crater, scanning for any trace of his team. Boot prints. Burn marks from the shuttle. Something. Anything. What he found instead made his blood run cold. Another crater. Smaller. Sharper. Fresh. The kind left by orbital strikes. He crouched low, hands splayed over the fractured stone. His mind conjured images unbidden. His squad was caught in the blast. No warning. No escape. Gone. The whispers surged, grief pressing at his chest that wasn't his own. For a heartbeat, Marcus didn't know if he was mourning his comrades or the ghosts. He staggered back, fists clenching. No. I'm not, this isn't me. I can't do this. I'm not your gravekeeper. The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. Then, a single voice rose from the others. Calm. Measured. You walk with us because you choose to. That is what makes you human. Marcus shut his eyes. He could almost see the soldier's hollow gaze, the woman's desperate arms, the alien's dying roar. And underneath it all, his father's smile. His sister laughed. All ghosts. All were walking with him. He opened his eyes, jaw tight. Fine. But if I carry you, then you carry me too. The cavern wind stirred faintly, though no atmosphere should have moved it. A sense of quiet agreement brushed his thoughts. Marcus rose. He adjusted the rifle on his shoulder and scanned the horizon. If his squad was gone, if the shuttle was destroyed, there was only one direction left. Toward the ruins. The structures loomed like broken giants. Towers of stone and metal twisted together, blackened by ages, carved with marks that pulsed faintly as he approached. The whispers sharpened, urgent now. There. There. Marcus's chest tightened. He wasn't sure if they were warning him, or guiding him. He passed beneath a shattered arch, its surface etched with constellations he didn't recognize. Inside, the air felt heavier. Not breathable, yet pressing down on him as if the ruins still remembered gravity differently. And in the center of the hollowed chamber, he saw them. Figures. Not alive. Not moving. Yet watching. At first, he thought they were statues. Rows of tall, gaunt forms, armor fused to their bodies, eyes hollow. But as he stepped closer, he realized the truth. These were not statues. These were corpses, preserved by something beyond time, standing sentinel in death. The whispers howled in his skull, dozens of voices rising in anguish. Our brothers. Our sisters. The ones who fell first. Marcus's knees buckled. He felt the weight of centuries pressing down, as though the dead themselves leaned against his shoulders. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't think. But he couldn't turn away. He walked among them, his boots echoing softly against the stone. Every corpse stood as though waiting for battle. Weapons frozen mid-grip. Faces frozen mid-defiance. And though their eyes were empty, he felt them follow him. He whispered, "What happened here?" The voices answered, heavy with grief. They stood. They fell. And they wait. Marcus's throat ached. He thought of his own unit. Of the fresh crater. Of how many times he'd seen soldiers frozen in death, never knowing if their sacrifice had mattered. And he wondered, if he died here, would he be another ghost whispering to whoever stumbled next into the ruins? He reached the chamber's end. And there, on a cracked dais, lay another tomb. This one was different. Its surface glowed with the same starlight glass as the cavern monument, but the glow was stronger, steadier, alive. Marcus felt it before he touched it. A heartbeat. Not his own. The tomb pulsed faintly, like a heart still beating in the dark. Marcus froze at the edge of the dais. His hand twitched toward the rifle, but he knew no weapon would matter here. The whispers surged in his mind, voices tangling over one another. Not yet. Not ready. Not awake. He swallowed, throat dry. What is this? The soldier's voice pressed through the others, steady, insistent. The last of us. The one who remembers all. Marcus's stomach tightened. If the ghosts already inside him were too much to bear, what would it mean to wake something greater? He stepped closer. The tomb's glow brightened at his presence, as if recognizing him. He hesitated, then pressed his palm to the surface. The world fell away. Darkness swallowed him whole. Not the silence of the cavern, not the grief of the echoes. Something deeper. Older. And in that darkness, a figure emerged. It was not human. Tall, angular, skin like glass that shimmered with constellations. Eyes hollow, but burning faintly with white fire. It spoke without sound. Human. Marcus's breath caught. He had never felt smaller. I'm not here to disturb you, he managed. The figure tilted its head. You are here because you hear. Memories crashed into him. Not visions this time. Not scattered fragments. A flood. Worlds falling. Fleets burning. A war older than Earth itself. And always the same shadow consuming all. Not a species. Not a weapon. A hunger. Marcus staggered under the weight of it. Why are you showing me this? The figure's voice echoed like thunder. Because you must carry what we could not. Marcus's chest tightened. I'm not strong enough. I can't even carry my own dead. The figure leaned close, firelight blazing in its hollow eyes. You endure. That is enough. The flood of memories twisted. He saw the soldier again, armor scorched. The woman is clutching her child. The alien screams defiance. But this time, he felt what bound them together. Not just grief. Not just death. A single promise. That someone, someday, would remember. The figure's voice trembled now, softer. We could not stop the silence. But we will not be forgotten. You will walk with us. You will carry us. Marcus fell to his knees. The voices inside him roared, louder than ever. His mind burned with their weight. I'll break, he gasped. If I take any more, I'll break. The figure lowered its hand, pale fire reaching toward its chest. Then break. But break as a human. The fire entered him. Marcus screamed. Every nerve lit with agony. Every memory not his own tore through him. His life shattered against theirs, splintering into shards that bled into one another. For a moment, there was nothing but pain. Then, silence. He opened his eyes. The chamber glowed faintly, dust swirling in the air. The tomb was dark now, its light spent. And Marcus was different. He felt them. Not outside. Not pressing against him. Inside. Every ghost. Every voice. Every memory. Carried. His body trembled as he rose, sweat soaking through his suit. He felt ancient and young, alone and surrounded. He gripped the edge of the dais to steady himself. Why me? He whispered again. The answer came not as thunder, but as a chorus of voices, soft and countless. Because you listen. Because you endure. Because you are human. Marcus's throat tightened. He wanted to deny it. To shove it all away. But he couldn't. Not anymore. A sound broke the silence. Not the whispers. Not the dead. Boot steps. Marcus spun, rifle raised. In the archway stood a figure. Human. Armor blackened, visor cracked. One of his squad. Corporal Reyes. Her weapon trembled in her hands as she stared at him. Hale. What the hell are you? The voices inside him stirred, restless. The dead pressed against his thoughts, urging, warning. Marcus lowered his rifle, hands open. It's still me. Reyes's eyes darted to the darkened tomb, then back to him. Her voice cracked. We saw you vanish. The whole squad combed the ridge, then the strikes hit. We thought you were gone. Marcus's chest tightened. The others? Her silence was answer enough. Marcus felt the weight of it crash down. Another set of ghosts, added to the rest. But he didn't bow under it. Not this time. He met her gaze, steady now. Then we carry them too. Reyes's visor hid most of her face, but Marcus could hear her ragged breath over the comm. Carry them, she whispered. Hale, you're not making sense. Marcus adjusted the rifle on his back, eyes drawn once more to the dark tomb. Neither did they. Not at first. But I hear them now. All of them. Reyes shook her head slowly, weapon still raised. You're rattled. The blast scrambled your brain. No, Marcus said. His voice held a weight even he didn't recognize. Something else did. They stood in silence for a moment. Only the ruins breathed around them. Finally, Reyes lowered her gun, just slightly. Doesn't matter. We need to get off this rock before the bastards swing back around. Our evac shuttle's gone. Marcus nodded. The ghosts inside him murmured, restless but not hostile. We'll find another way, he said. The ruins aren't dead. There's power here. Enough to light up a beacon. Maybe more. Reyes gave a bitter laugh. You're betting on alien ghost tech to save us? Marcus glanced back at the tomb. I'm not betting. I already took the gamble. They left the chamber, boots echoing down the hollow corridors. The ruins seemed to shift around them, arches bending subtly, carvings glowing faintly at Marcus's approach. Reyes muttered, "Feels like the place is watching us." Marcus didn't answer. Because it was. As they moved deeper, Marcus felt the voices stirring. Not warning this time. Guiding. Every turn, every split in the passage, he knew instinctively which way to go. Reyes noticed. "You've been here before." Marcus shook his head. "No. But they have." She stopped walking. "You're talking like you're not you anymore." Marcus turned to face her, his expression hard beneath the helmet. "I'm still me. But I'm not alone." The ghosts whispered, soft agreement humming through his bones. Reyes stared at him, something like fear behind her visor. Then she exhaled, a sharp, tired sound. "Fine. Let on, Ghost Walker." The path opened into a vast chamber. Rows of broken machines lay scattered, taller than titans, rusted and cracked. Some still hummed faintly with dormant power. At the far end, a great arch rose, intact, gleaming faintly, thrumming with energy. Marcus felt it before he saw it. A doorway. A gate. The voices surged, filling his skull. Home. Passage. Escape. Reyes cursed softly. "You're kidding me. That thing still works." Marcus stepped closer. "They want us to use it." Before he could take another step, the chamber shook. A low rumble, growing. Stone cracked. Dust rained down. And from the broken walls, machines stirred. Not the titans, smaller things. Angular, insect-like, their eyes glowing with faint blue fire. Guardians, left behind when flesh failed. Reyes raised her weapon. Contact. Marcus felt the ghost scream inside him, rage and fear layered into one. He raised his rifle, voice steady. "Then we fight." The guardians lunged. Bullets tore through their carapaces, sparks flying. Metal limbs clattered against stone. Marcus fired in bursts, his hands steady, his mind filled with a dozen voices guiding every shot. Left. Above. Strike now. He moved faster than he ever had. Not because he was stronger. Because he wasn't fighting alone. Reyes shouted, "What the hell's gotten into you?" Marcus ducked beneath a swipe, blasting the guardian's head clean off. "Ghosts," he grunted. "They're fighting with me." One guardian broke through, slamming Marcus to the ground. Its blade arm screeched across his chest plate, sparks showering. The voices inside him roared, a tidal wave of fury. Marcus didn't think. He grabbed the blade with his bare hands, the metal cutting into his palms. He screamed, not just his own scream, but the scream of 100 warriors who refused to fall. The blade snapped. Marcus shoved the machine off him and drove his rifle barrel into its chest. One pull of the trigger, and it was still. He rose, shaking, blood dripping inside his gloves. Reyes stared, wide-eyed. "You're not human anymore." Marcus wiped dust from his visor. "No. I'm too human." The last guardian collapsed in sparks. The chamber fell silent but for Marcus's ragged breathing and the faint hum of the arch. The voices quieted too, as though satisfied. Reyes lowered her rifle, shoulders trembling. "If that gate works, I don't care what you are. Get us through." Marcus stepped toward the arch. His hand hovered just shy of the glowing surface. The ghosts whispered, urgent but clear. "This is the first step. Once you cross, the galaxy will see. The silence will break." Marcus closed his eyes. He knew what that meant. Once he walked through, there was no hiding what he carried. The galaxy would know the human who walked with ghosts. He exhaled slowly. "Then let's walk." The arch blazed alive as Marcus pressed his hand to its surface. Light rippled outward, filling the chamber with a storm of color. Blues. Golds. Whites so sharp they stung his eyes through the visor. The stone floor trembled. Dust lifted into the air as though gravity had forgotten its hold. Reyes cursed softly. "Hale, what did you just do?" Marcus didn't answer. His heartbeat thundered in time with the arch's pulse. The voices inside him whispered together, not in fragments this time, united, one chorus. The way opens. The surface of the arch split like water, shimmering into a pool of light. Beyond it, faint outlines flickered, structures, stars, movement. A path. Reyes tightened her grip on her rifle. "That's a jump gate. I've seen Dominion schematics, but this tech is older. A lot older." Marcus took a step closer. The light seemed to lean toward him, beckoning. "This isn't for them," he said quietly. "It's for us." Reyes shot him a sharp glance. "Us?" Marcus touched his chest plate. "Me. And them." The chamber rumbled again. From the broken walls, more guardians stirred. Dozens this time. Reyes's voice cracked. "We don't have a choice, Hale." Marcus felt the ghosts inside him rise, fury boiling into his blood. "No," he said, lifting his rifle. "We don't." He fired, the ghosts screaming with him. Reyes followed, her shots echoing his. But for every guardian that fell, two more crawled from the shadows. The arch pulsed, brighter, hungrier. The voices pressed against his mind. "Go. Now. Carry us through." Marcus turned to Reyes. "We can't hold them off. We have to cross." Reyes's jaw tightened beneath the visor. "And if it kills us?" Marcus's eyes burned. "Then we'll walk with ghosts too." Without waiting for her reply, he sprinted for the arch. Crossing it was like being torn apart. His body stretched across light. His mind folded into 1,000 reflections. Every voice inside him screamed, not in fear but in defiance. And then he staggered forward onto solid ground. Stars spread above him, sharp and endless. Not the ruins. Not the crater. Another world. Reyes stumbled through after him, collapsing to her knees. "Gods. Hale, where the hell are we?" Marcus turned slowly, scanning the horizon. The sky was dark violet, streaked with faint green auroras. Towers rose in the distance, silver and black, alien and alive. But what froze him wasn't the city. It was the ships. Dozens of them, suspended in the sky. Sleek, angular, bristling with weapons. Not human. Not Dominion. They had arrived before him. And they were watching. Reyes scrambled to her feet, rifle raised. Contacts, too many. Marcus didn't move. His chest tightened, but not from fear. Because he felt it. The ships weren't just looking at them. They were looking at him. The ghosts inside him stirred, a restless tide. They know. They remember. A beam of light cut down from the nearest ship, striking the ground before them. Not a weapon. A message. Figures emerged, stepping through the glow. Tall, thin, armor glinting like liquid metal. Their faces hidden behind masks of glass. Reyes hissed. "Dominion scouts." Marcus shook his head. "No. Older." The figures stopped a few paces away. One lowered its weapon. The mask shimmered, revealing dark, hollow eyes. It spoke, voice deep and resonant. "The human carries them." Marcus's stomach dropped. They could see. Reyes stiffened. "Hale, what the hell are they talking about?" The alien tilted its head. "He walks with the fallen. Their echo burns in him." Marcus's breath caught. He opened his mouth, but the ghost spoke first. Through him. We remain. The alien staggered back as if struck. The others hissed in unison. Their weapons lowered, not in threat, but in reverence. One dropped to its knees. The ghosts endure, it whispered. In flesh not our own. The silence breaks. Reyes turned to Marcus, her voice sharp with disbelief. They're bowing to you. Marcus felt the ghost stir inside him, their grief twined with something else. Hope. He whispered, almost to himself, not to me. To all of us. The alien leader lifted its gaze, eyes burning. Human. You are no longer just yourself. You are memory. You are a burden. You are a weapon. Marcus's voice cracked. I'm just a soldier. The alien's voice boomed like thunder. No. You are the one who walks with ghosts. The alien leader's words hung in the air, heavy as stone. Marcus wanted to deny it. To laugh, to scream, to say he was nothing but a man in a broken suit, far from home. But the ghosts inside him stirred, restless, affirming. You carry us. You are us. Reyes took a step back, her rifle half raised. Hale, I don't like this. They're treating you like some kind of prophet. Marcus's throat tightened. I'm no prophet. But his voice lacked conviction. The alien leader rose slowly, eyes fixed on him. When the last of us fell, we carved a promise into stone, that one would come, not of our kind, not of our blood, but one who endured. One who would walk with our ghosts, and carry us past the silence. Marcus clenched his fists. That was never supposed to be me. The alien's gaze did not waver. And yet, here you stand. The ground shook faintly. Ships rumbled overhead, their shadows blotting out the auroras. Reyes's voice was tight. Hale, whatever this is, it's too big. We need to go dark, regroup, call command. Marcus turned to her. Command won't understand. They'll try to weaponize it, or destroy it. You know I'm right. Reyes hesitated, helmet hiding her face. Then what do you suggest? We just, play along. The ghosts pressed against his thoughts, soft but insistent. Not play. Walk. Choose. The alien leader extended an arm, palm open. Come with us. Some will kneel, and those who will kill to silence you. Either way, the galaxy will no longer sleep. Marcus stared at the offered hand. He felt the ghosts urging him forward. But he also felt his own fear, sharp and raw. If he accepted, there was no turning back. If he refused, what then? He took the hand. The alien's grip was cold, but strong. At once, the ships overhead shifted, their weapons dimming. The city beyond lit up with a cascade of lights, towers glowing in sequence, as though the world itself acknowledged his choice. Reyes muttered, "Oh, hell. You really did it." Marcus whispered back, "No. We did." They were led into the city. The streets were wide, paved with black stone that shimmered faintly beneath their boots. Tall spires loomed, their surfaces etched with glowing veins of energy. Crowds gathered, masked figures watching in silence. Some fell to their knees as Marcus passed. Others turned away, trembling. The whispers in his mind swelled, their voices overlapping with the living around him, past and present colliding. Reyes leaned close, her voice low. They're afraid of you. Marcus shook his head. Not me. The dead I carry. They reached a great hall at the city's heart. The doors opened with a groan, revealing a chamber vast enough to hold a starship. At its center lay a throne of black stone, cracked and empty. The alien leader gestured to it. Sit. Marcus's blood ran cold. I'm not your king. You are not, the alien agreed. But you are the vessel. The throne is not for ruling. It is for remembering. The voices pressed harder now, their whispers rising into a chorus. Sit. 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 Marcus's knees trembled. He lowered himself onto the throne. The instant his body touched the stone, the chamber ignited. Light poured from the walls, the floor, the ceiling. The spires outside flared alive, beams of energy shooting into the sky. Marcus gasped, clutching the armrests as visions tore through him. Not memories this time. Futures. War is spreading like fire. Fleets burning. Armies rising. And in the center, him. Always him. Standing, fighting, bleeding. Never alone, never silent. Always walking with ghosts. When the light dimmed, he was shaking. The alien leader stood before him, head bowed. The galaxy will come. Some to worship, some to destroy. But all will come. Because the silence has ended. Marcus swallowed hard. And if I refuse this? If I walk away? The alien's eyes burned faintly. You cannot walk away from what you carry. Reyes stood at his side, rifle lowered, her voice barely a whisper. Hale, what do we do now? Marcus rose slowly from the throne, every ghost stirring within him, their weight pressing but steady. He looked at her. Then at the alien. Then at the endless stars beyond the hall. His voice was quiet. But it carried like thunder. We walk. The word echoed through the hall like a spark through dry brush. We walk. The ghost stirred, resonant, voices swelling inside Marcus until they almost drowned his own. Reyes's visor turned toward him, her silence heavy with questions she didn't dare ask. The alien leader bowed low. Then the path begins. They left the hall beneath a sky now fractured with light. The spires of the city pulsed in rhythm with Marcus's heartbeat, their glow stretching into the heavens. He felt the weight of unseen eyes, thousands, maybe millions, watching, waiting. Reyes muttered as they walked, "You've just painted a target on Earth the size of the moon. The Dominion isn't going to ignore this." Marcus's jaw tightened. They weren't ignoring us before. Now at least we have a voice. Reyes gave a short, bitter laugh. A voice full of dead people. Marcus didn't argue. Because she wasn't wrong. At the city's edge, the alien leader halted. Word has already traveled. The Dominion fleets stir. Others will come too, the scavengers, the zealots, the ones who crave silence above all. They will come for you. Marcus's stomach turned. Then what do you expect me to do? The alien's hollow gaze burned faintly. Endure. Reyes snapped. That's not a plan. That's a death sentence. Marcus turned to her, voice steady despite the storm inside. No. It's a promise. The ghosts whispered in agreement, their tone calm, unwavering. Endure. Endure. The alien raised an arm, gesturing to the horizon. There, a structure rose taller than all the others. A tower of black glass, cracked but still alive with light. The beacon, the alien said. It was once called across the stars. It can again. But it will not call only allies. It will call everyone. Reyes swore under her breath. A galactic flare. Like lighting a bonfire in the middle of a battlefield. Marcus felt the voices stir, restless but resolute. They want it lit, he said quietly. The alien nodded. So they can no longer be forgotten. The walk to the beacon felt longer than any march Marcus had endured in his years as a soldier. Not because of the distance, but because of the weight. Every ghost pressed against him, not crushing, but steadying. A million hands at his back, urging him forward. Reyes trudged beside him, her voice low. I didn't sign up for this, Hale. I signed up to fight, not to carry history. Marcus glanced at her. Neither did I. But sometimes you don't get to choose the weight. Just whether you break under it. Reyes was quiet for a long moment. Then she sighed. Damn you. You actually believe this, don't you? Marcus looked ahead at the beacon, glowing faintly against the violet sky. I don't have the luxury not to. As they neared the tower, ships shifted overhead. Not the reverent vessels of the aliens who had led them. Different shapes. Sharper. Predatory. Dominion craft. Reyes's voice spiked with alarm. We've got company. The ghosts screamed inside Marcus's skull, urgent, furious. They come. They bring silence. Stand. The beacon flared brighter, as though answering the challenge. Marcus gripped his rifle tighter. Then we stand. The Dominion ships descended, their hulls glinting with cruel lines of steel. Dropships broke from their bellies, cutting through the sky toward the city. Reyes cursed, checking her ammo. Whole damn platoon. We can't fight that many. Marcus's chest burned, the ghosts pressing harder, filling his lungs, his veins, his bones. He looked at her, eyes blazing with something not entirely his own. We don't have to fight alone. The city stirred. Figures poured from the streets, masked, armored, their weapons glowing faintly. Not Dominion, not human. The people of this world. And they weren't kneeling anymore. They were arming. Reyes's voice cracked. They're going to fight with us. Marcus's voice carried like steel. No. We fight with them. The ghosts inside him screamed with joy and fury, a chorus of 1,000 lost warriors rising through one human throat. Let them come. Marcus roared. We endure. The sky cracked with fire. Dominion dropships tore through the violet clouds, their engines howling. Weapons flared, streaking down toward the city in lines of burning light. The towers shuddered. Streets erupted in stone and flame. Marcus stood firm at the base of the beacon, rifle steady, the ghost screaming through his blood. Stand. 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 Reyes crouched beside him, shouting over the thunder. They'll level this place. Marcus's voice was calm, almost too calm. Not if we hold. The first wave hit. Dominion soldiers poured from the dropships, armored, disciplined, their rifles spitting blue bolts of plasma. The masked people of the city met them head-on, their weapons older but burning with strange energy. Stone streets became battlefields. Towers lit with fire. Marcus surged forward into the chaos. He fired with precision that felt alien. Every shot guided by voices in his skull. Every dodge whispered before it happened. Left. Down. Strike. Now. He wasn't just fighting. He was fighting with them. A Dominion soldier lunged, blade flashing. Marcus caught the strike with his bare hand. The metal seared into his palm, but the ghosts howled through him, their rage snapping the blade in two. Marcus rammed the butt of his rifle into the soldier's visor, shattering it. The man dropped, lifeless. Reyes gaped. Hale, what the hell was that? Marcus's breath came ragged. Not me. The ghosts roared in his skull. Us. The battle raged. The city screamed. Explosions shook the ground. The Dominion pressed harder, relentless, disciplined. But the people fought like those who had nothing left to lose. And in the center, Marcus burned like a torch. Every ghost that had ever fallen, every memory carried, turned his body into something more than flesh. His rifle never missed. His strikes never faltered. He was one man, but he was never alone. The Dominion commander stepped onto the field, a towering figure in crimson armor, weapon glowing with plasma fire. He pointed his blade at Marcus. Human. His voice cut through the chaos. Whatever you've become, it ends here. Marcus felt the ghosts surge inside him, fury boiling like fire. He stepped forward. Then try to end us. The commander charged, blade swinging. Marcus met him head-on. Steel clashed with plasma, sparks tearing the air. Every strike rattled Marcus's bones. The commander was stronger, faster, and unyielding. But Marcus was not alone. The voices screamed, guiding him. He dodged, countered, struck back with the weight of 1,000 hands on his shoulders. The commander roared, "You're just one man." Marcus's eyes burned. "No. I'm all of them." He drove his blade into the commander's chest. The crimson armor cracked. The Dominion soldier staggered, choking, eyes wide. Marcus leaned close, his voice low, steady. "The dead don't forget." He wrenched the blade free. The commander collapsed. The battlefield froze. For a heartbeat, silence reigned. Dominion soldiers faltered, their discipline breaking, fear rippling through their lines. And then the people of the city roared. The Dominion broke. Ships clawed back into the sky, retreating under a storm of fire. Soldiers scattered, fleeing through the streets. The city blazed with victory, though its wounds burned deep. Towers still smoked. Streets still bled. Marcus stood in the center, chest heaving, hands trembling. Reyes approached, visor cracked, armor scorched. She stared at him. "You're not human anymore." Marcus looked at her, eyes hollow but steady. "I'm human because of this. Because I carry them." The ghosts whispered, soft now. "Gentle. We walk. We endure." The alien leader approached, bowing his head. "You are the vessel. The silence is broken. The galaxy will come, and it will not stop. You are no longer a soldier. You are a symbol." Marcus stared up at the beacon, its light blazing into the stars. He felt the weight of the dead, pressing but steady, endless but not crushing. He whispered, almost to himself, "Then let them come." The voices echoed with him, countless and unyielding. Let them come. The beacon's light reached into the heavens, a column that split the sky. Marcus stood beneath it, his body trembling, his soul heavy. Around him, the city burned and healed in the same breath. The Dominion had fled, but not for long. Others would come. And yet, for the first time, the galaxy would not find silence waiting. It would find a human. Reyes pulled off her helmet, her face streaked with blood and ash. She looked at him not with fear, but with something harsher. Something truer. "You know this doesn't end. You've lit a fire the whole damn galaxy's going to see. Earth, the Dominion, every empire, they'll all come for you." Marcus exhaled slowly, his voice steady despite the storm inside. "Then let them." The ghost stirred with him, not screaming now but murmuring like a tide. "We will stand. We will walk. We endure." The alien leader approached, his mask fractured, eyes shining faintly with something like awe. "You have done what none of us could. You have carried our dead into tomorrow." Marcus shook his head. "I didn't ask for this. I'm no chosen one. I'm just a soldier who didn't know when to let go." The alien lowered his gaze. "That is why it had to be you." Night fell over the ruined city. Auroras painted the sky, shimmering green and violet, wrapping the beacon in ghostly color. Survivors gathered in the streets, their faces pale and masked, their eyes fixed on Marcus. Some bowed. Some whispered prayers. Some simply watched in silence. But all of them knew. The silence had broken. Reyes sat beside Marcus at the beacon's steps, her rifle across her knees. "You ever think about what happens if you die?" she asked quietly. Marcus's gaze stayed fixed on the stars. "I already did. Every time one of them fell. But they're still here. And as long as I breathe, so are they. Reyes studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Guess that's enough. The ghosts shifted inside him, soft, almost tender. Not just warriors now. Not just rage. He felt the weight of children, families, and voices of lives stolen too soon. He felt their sorrow. Their hope. And for the first time, he realized they weren't just clinging to him. They were leaning on him. Trusting him. Marcus whispered into the night, I'll carry you. As long as I walk, you walk too. The voices answered, quiet and endless. Yes. We walk. Dawn broke violet across the horizon. The beacon's light dimmed, but it did not fade. It pulsed steadily, a heartbeat felt across the stars. Ships would come. Fleets would gather. Empires would move against them. But it didn't matter. Because one human, in a ruined suit with ash in his lungs and ghosts in his blood, had chosen to endure. And that choice could not be undone. Reyes rose, slinging her rifle across her back. So what now, Hale? Where do we go? Marcus stood beside her, his gaze fixed on the sky. Wherever the ghosts lead. He tightened his grip on the rifle, every voice within him rising in chorus. Not a dirge. Not a cry of the fallen. A march. And so the human who walked with ghosts took his first step into legend. Not as a savior. Not as a king. But as a soldier who refused to let the dead be forgotten. And in the silence of the universe, a new sound rose. The sound of footsteps. One man walking. Millions walking with him.